We need to make sleep a priority. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service, your family and consumer science agent. Today, we are wrapping up our series on sleep. So we've talked a lot about how much sleep we need, what things we need to consider, how it can negatively impact our health and our behaviors. And so today we're going to look a little bit about what are some of the things that we can think about that can help improve our sleep to hopefully offset some of those negative effects. So I said we need to make sleep a priority. Improving our sleep is intentional. If you want it to be better, if you want to use it as a way to think about your health, you have to be intentional about getting enough sleep. The effect of sleep deprivation on your health, both physically and mentally, can be ruthless, and it worsens over time. So we've talked a lot about that in this series, what that looks like. So now we want to consider some of these basic steps that we can do. If you still have a concern, if these are simple things you can do on your own. If you have bigger issues, you think you might have some type of a sleep disorder, then consult a healthcare professional and have that conversation with them about how and what you could do differently. So we're going to look at specifically some things that you can do on your own. So improving our sleep, there are several factors that we can consider, and they fit into these 4 basic categories that we're going to use. And that's our environmental factors, our emotional and our psychological factors, those physical factors, and then what we're going to call sleep hygiene, or how we take care of ourselves when it comes to sleep. So let's start off with those environmental factors. One of the things that we don't give enough credit to is light. So when we talk about the sleep process and the cycles that we go through, light and sunlight specifically have a big effect on that. So one of the things to consider when needing to look at your environment and, hey, what could be the things that could help me sleep better to get more quality from my sleep for my brain, for my body, is having a dark room, making sure it's really dark, whether it's blackout curtains or something along those lines, or even just a simple sleep mask, an eye mask that's going to block out all of that extra light. And that signals to your brain and your body, hey, it is time to sleep. This is what we need to do. The other thing is noises and sounds. So that white noise, maybe there's all kinds of apps and different things out there now that can help you have that relaxing type of sound, or wear some earplugs so that other sounds and things going on around you are not disturbing your sleep patterns. We can look at decreasing some of that electromagnetic frequencies throughout our house, make sure our outlets are grounded, that things are turned off or unplugged in the evenings when we need to sleep. Eliminate our electronic devices in the hours before we go to bed. Take that opportunity, take a break from that. Those electronic devices are what we call alerts. They're built to alert your brain to, hey, pay attention to me, look at me, see what I'm doing. And so when they stimulate all of that type of activity, your brain can't rest, relax, and go to sleep to process what it needs to. Expose yourself to bright lights in the morning so that your body goes, hey, you know what? It's time to wake up. We are ready to go on with our day. And then sometime throughout the day, spend some time outside, daylight hours. When the sun is out, we want to get exposure to sunlight to kind of, again, trigger that in our body that, hey, this is the system. This is the process that I am on, so that when it is time to rest, when it's time to sleep, so that our body and our brain can recharge and perform their functions, we are ready for that. So this next factor tends to be what most of us think about when, oh, I can't sleep. There's all these reasons I can't sleep, and that's those emotional and psychological factors. So one of the things that's the big tip for, hey, this will get you better rest, is to decrease your stress. Well, again, there's a vicious cycle around sleep, because we already know, we've talked about that not getting enough sleep, I am going to increase my stress in a variety of ways for things that I'm dealing with. And then I'm not going to be able to sleep. And so I don't sleep, I have more stress. I have more stress, so I don't sleep. And it creates this big cycle. So in reprocessing, reframing, looking at what's going on around us may be a big part into figuring out how we can rest better. So one way to do that is to think about positivity and gratitude, being grateful, taking the opportunity to thank other people, going out of your way to be positive. This is that fake it till you make it idea. Smile at yourself first thing in the morning when you get up to set the tone for the day, and find those positive things in your life. Positive quotes. There's a lot of great stuff out there. Again, there's apps, there's all types of books and websites and things completely dedicated to helping you be more positive. If those things don't work from a self-help standpoint, cognitive behavioral therapy is always an option. And it's one of those things that people don't always talk about it, but behavioral therapy that helps you process not just how to do things, but why you do them a certain way so that you can maintain that for yourself. Relaxing music may be something that can help, kind of set that tone. Again, relax your body overall, relax your mind. And then we talk a lot about just mindfulness and relaxation, meditation. There's sleeping apps out there, a lot of these things that can, again, focus your mind on the fact that regardless of what those stressors are or what I've got to do with my day tomorrow, it's time to rest. It is time for my body, my mind to relax, to rebuild in their own processes and take the time to sleep. And of course, physical factors affect whether or not we are able to sleep. So one of the things we want to do is eliminate those sleep disruptors. And we know some of the things that disrupt sleep. We already talked a little bit about our electronics, but excessive caffeine or alcohol, diet pills, things that increase your metabolism, large meals right before you go to bed, or even just within a certain amount of time before you go to bed can keep you from sleeping as deeply as you need to, and for your body being able to process and do all of the things it needs to do while you're sleeping. So one of the things we can do is exercise at some point during the day. That helps promote deeper sleep. It gets everything flowing and moving and all of this stuff. We all know exercise and physical activity are good for us, but having that some point throughout the day to help us have a deeper, better sleep in the evenings. And then maybe breathing exercises before bed is something that you can do, making sure you have plenty of oxygen in your body so that you can sleep soundly. We don't want to overeat or have really heavy foods in the evenings. Sometimes just losing weight is what's going to really help us to do better and feel better and sleep better at night. So our body's not constantly trying to burn off that fat and that extra food. If you have gut issues and you know that maybe you have a sensitivity to gluten, maybe you have a sensitivity to other certain types of food products, you're going to eliminate those. You're going to avoid those things to make sure that you can do what you need to do and make sure that you have that good bacteria. Maybe it's probiotics or some other type. Again, you talk to your healthcare professional about this. What do I need to do to make my process better? And then you don't want to exercise and elevate that heart rate 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, because it takes a while for your body to even back out after you've done your exercising. So think of that time frame, 2 to 3 hours before bed, when you're going to have that elevated heart rate. So physically, there are some things we can do and plan for that are going to help us improve our sleep. Finally, we're going to talk a little bit about what we call sleep hygiene. Just like your regular hygiene, we're going to brush our teeth, take a shower. We need to have routines and things that are going to put us in a good place for our sleep. Now, all of these things, everything we've talked about throughout the sleep series, everybody's like, well, we knew that. Well, yes, we always know things. Sometimes it's just having that gentle reminder of, hey, you're going to feel better, you're going to do better, your health's going to be better if you think about this. Because like we said, improving your sleep has to be intentional. So these are some of the tips that you can pick and choose, the ones that are going to work the best for you, and be intentional about improving your sleep. So when we talk about hygiene, one of those big things, create a bedtime routine and then follow it. What is my routine at bedtime? I'm going to disconnect from my electronics. I'm going to plug those in and put them where they belong, do my little breathing exercises, and I'm going to be ready to go to sleep. So then also think about what time I go to bed and what time I get out of bed. And having that routine can be very important to how consistently our body is recharging. Don't sleep in on the weekends. Stay within 1 hour of that normal time that you get up. That one hurts my heart too, y'all. I get it. We all want to take that little extra time when we have it to sleep longer, but in the long run, it's detrimental to our sleep cycles and being on that set routine. Use your bed for sleeping only. It's hard. Most of us in our bedroom, we want to lay on our bed and watch TV, or maybe we play solitaire, or if you're reading a book, whatever those things are. Make that space a sleeping space and have a separate space where, oh, this is the chair I'm going to sit in. This is the place I'm going to go if I want to read, if I want to watch a show. Or if I just want to do work, sit at a desk as opposed to sitting on my bed, so that when I get in bed, my body, my mind, everything goes, yeah, it's time to sleep. This is where we go to sleep. If it's possible or if it's necessary for you, sleep alone. Okay. If you have a partner that snores, if you have kids that want to come and crawl into bed with you and kick you half the night, figure out what it needs to look like and feel like for you to have the space you need to sleep at night. Consider sleep restrictions to get sleep cycle reset. So right now you may have to say, okay, I really want to sleep for 12 hours, but what I need to do is set my body up to be sleeping that 8 hours. So restrict yourself to those hours of we're going to sleep within this amount of time. And then don't just lay in bed awake. Again, it's really easy to just want to stretch and hit the snooze button and just hang out for a while. But if we set that time and we have those parameters that this is my space, this is where I go, this is time for sleep, our mind and our body will adapt to that, and we will have more quality sleep within the time frame that we need to have it. Thank you for joining us to learn more about sleep and how it can affect us, and maybe some ways that we can possibly improve the sleep that we get for our health, both physical and mental. I'm Mindy Turner with the Curry County Cooperative Extension Service. Information for this series was taken from New Mexico State University, Extension Family and Consumer Sciences Department, and the CDC. I hope you learned something that you needed to know.